Welcome to the shop, a moto podcast with your host, Jake Lowry and Grayson Crumb.
Hey guys, what's up? Back with another episode of Shop Moto Pod. I'm your host. You know my name, Eli? I'm your host, Jake Lowry. So if you notice, we got somebody different sitting in the co-host chair. I fired Grayson. So no more big youngin on Shop Moto Pod. I'm sorry, listeners. I know he was probably the more popular guy that everybody liked, but you know, times are tough. He's super expensive. He drinks a lot of twisted tea, and it's about the only thing he does. So had to trade him out for Eli Williams. Eli, welcome to Shop Moto Pod.
Hey.
All right, Eli.
I had to make some budget cuts.
Yeah, make some budget cuts. So Eli's he's going to be our tech man. Are you good at being a tech man?
I can try.
Okay, he can try. So, no, for real, everyone. Grayson is he went to Daytona. He's in Florida still. So we're going to call him up, and we're going to get Grayson's take on Daytona, being there for the Supercross, racing the RCSX, whether he tried or not. Well, I think one moto he tried. He was good. He tried really hard in College Boy.
I didn't get to see that moto.
Yeah, well, he was. Oh man, I mean, he said it was faster. Okay, it probably was. I mean, if you look at first place to last place, the gap is unbelievable, and that's a problem with the AMA and racing and how they're doing the classes and stuff, because Casey Cochran and Drew Adams were winning. So kids that would make 250 mains, and then you got last place, who obviously Grayson beat by a good bit. I mean, I'm like, the gap between that's really not safe or fair or anything. So it just doesn't make sense, because the way they have C, where these guys hold back for C, and then they're scared to ride B because you got factory guys riding B, which shouldn't happen either. It's a lot. We'll get into it with Grayson. I guess if he'll want to get into it. Here, we got to use Eli's phone. My service is crap. So we're gonna call up Big Youngin. See what he's doing. I think he's on the roads. He's driving somewhere. Not sure where.
Hello.
Is this Grayson Crumb?
Yes, sir. How can I help you?
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, this is Jake Lowry, Shop Moto Pod. Just wanted to welcome you to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, first-time caller, long-time listener.
That's right. That's you.
First-time caller. How
This is first time.
doing?
This is first time you calling in.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a podcast before?
Some shall say no, but, depends.
I haven't.
Oh, so Eli's sitting in your chair. He's keeping it warm.
That's good. I hope he does better than I do.
Yeah, he didn't strip any bolts or break anything or catch anything on fire. No electrical shorts or anything this week while you've been gone.
So we're on the right track then.
Yeah, he's put some bikes together and worked on a couple things. Done everything I've told him. Hey, let's do this. So.
I mean, how much has his own stuff has he worked on?
None, actually.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some work for him to do when I get back,
I haven't even turned my tires around yet.
Yeah. I think it's time for new ones. They've been turned around too many times.
Yeah. I got more than tires to turn around when I get back.
Yeah. So, how's it been, buddy?
Yeah, it's been going, It's not vibes are good still. And driving, I'm between Jacksonville and Tallahassee. So we're just driving to the next stop.
So you want to start with the beginning? We'll start with Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday was awesome. Watched the races, stormed the track, old Daytona, as some are calling it now.
I mean, he's good there, dude. He's trying. I really didn't think he was going to win, and then yeah.
He scared me in qualifying, and so like I never watched a lot of qualifying. I only watched the first qualifying, and he scared me. But I'm like, fantasy wise, I'm still going with him. He's gonna figure it out. Him and Coop always figure it out.
Yeah,
and I watched it. Well, the 250 class, like, I'm sitting right there by the finish, okay? Across the finish, I'm like 15 feet to the right of it. And Hunter crosses, and the crowd is, like, kind of silent. Like, woo, woo. I'm like, okay, like, dude, like, he literally just got a neck burn, wins Daytona. Whoever, Anstey crosses next. Then Deegan crosses in third, and I've never heard the crowd erupt louder. And I'm like, are we kidding right now?
No, dude, YouTube star.
Yes. And I'm like, are you? I had like a group of like 5 or 6 15-year-olds in front of me that I would choke out right now if I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because like they have no idea what's going on. And I'm like, they just see Hayden Deegan and like, woo, yeah, Hayden, that's your boy. And I'm like Hunter Lawrence really just won the thing. Like, y'all know that?
Yeah, you can't deny though that the Deegan YouTube thing brings eyes to the sport.
It does.
Whether they ride or buy bikes or whatever, it at least brings eyes to the sport. And maybe if 10% of those decide to get a bike, that's better than any other growth that anybody's creating, because the rest of it's just, Dad rode or Grandpa rode, and that's why I ride. Like, I saw, this kid's racing the KTM Challenge at Glendale. I saw somebody shared it on Facebook, and you know what the kid said in his little interview of how he found dirt bikes?
Hayden Deegan.
Well, it wasn't. He didn't say Deegan, but
Mac?
he was watching dirt bike stuff on YouTube, and he was like 4 or 5 years old, little kid seeing dirt bikes on YouTube, and that's what made him want to ride. And the kid's been racing for like 4 years now. He's doing the KTM Challenge at Glendale. Like, so I mean my kid's like, dude, watch the mess out of YouTube. I mean, a 3-year-old, that's all she wants to watch, YouTube. She just watches her shows on YouTube. So, I mean, really and truly, it's not a surprise to me that he has, this huge following, and they're actually, I guess it's maybe a surprise that they're actually going to Supercrosses and stuff, but it's like the diehard moto people are like, some of them, it's like half and half on, some of them are against him, some of them not. I'm not against him. The kid's a good rider. That's all I care about, whatever. But there's a lot of hate because he comes from money. So.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I just listened to him, and I just text you about it on Pulp.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not, like, a hater, but I'm not, like blowing him. But, like, after hearing his interview, I'm like, his interview was really good. Like, he had personality with it. Like, him and A-Ray's like, dude, I bet you're getting so many DMs from girls and blah. And he's, like, laughing about it. He's like, yeah, like, I'm not focused about it. I just want to ride my, putting in the extra laps. And, like, it kind of put me towards, like, I really like this kid. Like, I don't want him to, like, not succeed or whatever just because he has a famous YouTube. Yeah,
so you, like, got a true, real, like, I'm gonna be open. Let's listen to the kid. Let's take I don't like when guys are just like, they absolutely hate him. They're like, I'm gonna hate the kid because I don't like Brian Deegan. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't, you can't. I'm gonna hate the kid because his dad's so and so. Like, that's not fair. Think of a kid that his dad, committed a murder when he was like 1 year old. And then you're going to be like, the whole world hates the kid because his dad was a murderer. Like, the kid didn't choose that. You can't judge it off the kid. You can't judge the kid off their parent. And I honestly don't think Brian is a bad dude. Like, I think, I think a lot of people that come off think he comes off as cocky or whatever, or, but to me, he's done a lot for the sport. And, like, I have respect for that because he stayed in it. His kids are still in it. He's putting money still towards it. shows like
Yeah.
he does love dirt bikes and what it's done. And there are guys that, they had success with it and they just ghost and they have nothing to do with the sport anymore. And
Yeah.
I would rather them be here and putting their money and focus towards it to help it grow than to just ghost it and be gone completely. So, well,
Yeah, I like. He's just digging. Like Brian's a really smart dude, and
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
give
he
him
is.
props to.
yeah,
And Hayden's a fast dude. Like it's incredible to see like how in person, like how aggressive he looked. Like I've never watched him on Supercross, but like he's come over the jumps and he's just like so aggressive and like he was like that the whole time. I'm like, I get some 5 minutes into the main and I'm like, okay, like, he'll get tired, but like 15 minutes in, he's still doing the same thing, like on the bike and everything. I'm like, that's like very. You're really in shape and you're very skillful
yeah. Well, I
for
mean,
doing that.
for him to get a podium at Daytona shows that
Yeah, it
'cause
looks
probably the
gnarly.
probably the toughest one. So
Yeah.
Well, so what about? Did you run out onto the track after it was over? Please tell me
Oh
you
yeah,
did.
I was one of the first 5 to jump the fence.
First 5 to fall over the fence, but you weren't.
Oh no, I'm jumping that thing, dude. I was like a hurdler, jumping it, and then I took off, and I was really close to the post. They didn't spray champagne. I get champagne shower like last year, but like just being in the environment was sick.
Yeah, dude. What about the Tomac Webb battle? That was good.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, I haven't rewatched it yet. I'll probably do it tonight on TV.
Yeah.
But from what I was looking, it was soon as I saw the start, and it was Tomac Webb, Sexton, J.A. seemed like he was up there. Barsha was up there.
Yeah,
I think.
Barsha was the one that I think could have been the spoiler.
I think so too.
So Barsha had the fastest lap time of the main, and
I didn't know that.
yeah. So if he would have him and Chase came together, I don't know if you saw that. And,
I saw a clip of it, but I didn't see where it was or when it was.
It happened twice. So Chase moved over on him before the triple going like to the far left side.
Push.
You know? And so like he pushed him off the track. Barsha kind of had to ride on the side, charged back in behind Chase, but he kind of had the pass, and Chase kind of just moved over on him and kind of just, hey, like I'm not letting you pass right here. I'm shutting the door. And that kind of slowed Barsha, but then Barsha tried to make another pass later, and Barsha kind of like landed on Chase a little bit. You know that there was the 3 going into the right-hander. You could go 2 and single and like go in the deep rut on the inside, or you could go 3 to the outside. Where Tomac and Webb hit.
Yeah. Right.
So,
I caught the start.
Yeah. So coming out of that right-hander. Yeah. Barsha landed on almost landed on Sexton there, and so Barsha went down, and it kind of deterred him a little bit. Where like I feel like if that wouldn't have happened, he could have just moved into third. Dude, he would have been. He was still. They were really close to the first 2 at that point, and I think he could have been right there. Like it'd have been a 3-way battle, and with Barsha in it. Who knows what kind of fireworks would have happened then? But it is what it is. It was still a good race. I feel like the track actually raced pretty good. So,
see, like watching it, it seemed like it was kind of one line. Like it was just like, who's going to make the mistake first? That's what it didn't seem like they were racing. You know?
I don't know. I mean, there was like if they took sometimes they would like the lines in the sand would change throughout the race.
Yeah.
So like. Sometimes guys would take a different line, and it would like be faster or slower, and you could really tell there. The switchbacks before the finish, that definitely changed on which line was faster throughout the main, and and the rest of it. I mean, just the big rhythms though, like it made it where like you had to be kind of perfect, or you would miss the rhythm, and they were big enough that if you missed it, it was a lot of time, and. I think that made it pretty interesting. So I was a fan of all of it, except for the 250 class was kind of the 250 class was kind of boring. I hated that Thrasher went down. I don't blame Hunter one bit for what he did, because if I'm in his position, did we lose Grayson? We lost him. Call him back. He's driving. So, we'll continue on. We got camera. Don't forget. You there? Hello.
Grayson.
Grayson Chrome.
Earth to Grayson.
We'll keep trying to call him back, and we'll. So for the listeners, I was if I'm Hunter, and the guy that's trying to battle me in the points is right there, I'm probably. We can barely hear you.
Florida service, brother. I don't know.
Oh, we hear you now.
Okay, Florida.
Yep. So, anyway, I was saying if I was Hunter, I would have done the same thing. If second place in the championship was going around the outside, and it's the second corner, I would kind of just bebop to the outside and bump him a little bit, especially in the sand, knowing that he might fall. It's not really it's dirty, but it's not like so dirty that people are going to just be hating you for it. So I think he's in the Grayson's in the middle of nowhere, Florida. He must have took the wrong exit, and he's in the Everglades now, and that's why we can't hear him.
I found an alligator. There's a gator over there.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, you sound like an alien now. So.
Oh God.
No, we can hear you a little bit. Just keep talking, and it's good. So.
Okay. Hopefully.
All right, so we're done with the Supercross. How we need to know about RCSX now. Or it went that bad that he just won't tell us anything about it.
Yeah.
So, Well, moving on to RCSX. Grayson was there. Mac was there. I'm not sure who else raced
Peyton,
it from.
CJ.
Oh, yeah, Peyton and CJ raced it. Yeah, Jack raced it. Shout out to our one of our Louisiana locals, Easton Graves. Got him a title there. Not really a surprise after the way he rode at Wildwood, so.
Yeah.
But it's cool to get a title, and there was a bunch of guys from the Wildwood area that were at Daytona, just to show how stacked that one was. So, Grayson, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, we can hear you. So, all right, we need your first-hand experience of RCSX.
It was good to me. Like it was difficult, but like good at the same time. Very optional. There's a lot of more options than like last year when I raced it on like rhythms, and dude, the whoops this year were massive. Like
Yeah,
massive
all right,
for me.
But I wanna let me ask you something.
Okay.
So I watched several races. I noticed that like the B guys were jumping through them. I don't think I watched any of the A classes, so I can't speak on the A classes. But some of the B kids should be A. And I happened to gander upon plus 25, and
guy.
the top 3 or 4, 5 or so plus 25 guys were blitzing the whoops, and just kind of
the top B guys were, and then the top A guys were. But it was just where you did them at. Like, if you were going to jump them, you had to go to the right because that's where they were jumping. To blitz them, you had to go to the left.
Okay.
And so, like, you couldn't jump on the left. Like, I tried the first lap of each race, I go to the left, and you couldn't jump them because they were so cut. Like, I'm not good with whoops anyway, so, like, I'm not, like, it's hard to jump them when they're so cupped out. The left was getting cupped out bad.
Yeah, yeah.
But like compared to last year when I'm expecting whoops, they're normally like Mid-South Arena Cross whoops last year.
Oh, yeah. Those were way bigger than that.
Yes, and so like I would compare them to like the size of when did we do Tunica 20?
Yeah, COVID year. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they were like that, but bigger, but like the same. Like those were more peaky. These were round and a little bit bigger. That's what I could compare them to.
Yeah. Well, I would have liked them round. That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
so like it was my first time. Like I'm glad I got better throughout the day or throughout the weekend. the first day, Sunday was rough, practice in the heats. I came in still trying to figure the bike out, rode in the 250. So, like, I'm calling, like, shout out to Moeller. I called, like, Spencer. I called you to try to figure the bike, like, suspension-wise out. And then figured the suspension out. And then Sunday got, like, dropped my lap times, like, 2 seconds. Just by, like, charging and figuring out the lines and stuff. You kind of helped me with the whoops, telling me, like, watching the videos and telling me, like, stop clipping the rear.
Yeah, you were hanging your rear and you're not getting in the pocket.
Yeah. But there's, like, if that was on my 450, I feel like there would have been a couple jumps. Like, you cross the start and it's like a 3 into a corner.
Yep.
Before the switchbacks, and then, like,
were you? Yeah. So you weren't doing that. No. You think on the 450 you would have done it?
Yeah, I would have for sure on the 450. It would have been. What about
after the switchbacks and then that? No, not after the switchbacks. No. Before the rhythm on the far, like if you were on the speedway looking at the track on the far right.
After the whoops, you turn 180. It was like jumped onto the table, and then, like, some guys were going like 3.
Yeah, and then onto that other table. Yeah. Onto the last table.
Is that? Oh, is that what? Yeah.
They were only jumping twice through that section. Yep.
Yeah, they would go like it'd be like they'd go 3 over the table and then the little table into the corner. I wouldn't have done that because the transitions were chewed right there. Mm-hmm. But I would have went double and then table onto the table.
Okay.
I just didn't have enough. I didn't have enough ass in that 250 to really do that.
But before the whoops, there was a 3 there, right?
Yeah,
you come out of that left-hand turn, and you would go. Yeah. The guys would go 3, 2, 2. Because some guys would go 2, 2, 3, but 3, 2, 2 was fast. Like, did you ever think about that 3 in, or was it big?
No, it was pretty big. Like, it wasn't big as in the sense of, like, the lot of dirt, but big in, like, it was right out of the corner.
Yeah.
And so, like, the lip wasn't the face of it wasn't that big, but there was a guy, some dude did in college one next to me. He went 2, 2, 3 into the wall. I thought that was faster than anything.
I saw some guys do that, but I still feel like that it was slow. It was kind of slow in the beginning, and then you have to slow down for the wall. I feel like going 3 at first was the fastest way. Yeah,
I think.
But the three out obviously is better than just going 2 single out. So.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like that you did?
I feel like the highlight race was College Boy in the main. Was definitely flowing really well. The leaders, like when they were coming to lap me, like I never felt like I was in the way. Like they would just go around me, and I would just like be like, okay, like yeah, like they would find a way around me, you know, and because they're older, they're more like the guys I'm racing. They're college boy, 18 to 24, so like they're grown men. They know what they're doing. Yeah, and B, like the main and B, like it was a scratch. There were multiple times. Like I did 4 laps, and then I'm just like, every time I came around, I'm waiting for that white flag. I was just praying for it.
Yeah, well, me and Eli watched that one, and it kind of looked like you were just kind of riding around the last couple laps. Eli was throwing a few tools. May or may not have dumped your toolbox over.
I was riding around. So it was bad.
But so I watched College Boy, and you had like 2 laps of TV time in that one. Like,
no way.
Yeah, because you just said like when they lapped you, you were like didn't feel like you were in the way, or you like hung in there with them a little bit. So it's like it took first a minute to like really like get to you and get around you. So like you got a bunch of TV time then, and then you kind of stayed behind him, and they stayed right there for like a lap, and then like the next lap they swapped to second and third battling. So then there's you again in front of them, and it's the same. It's like the same thing. Like it took them literally a lap to like a half a lap to get around you, then like you hung around for a half a lap. So it's like they were obviously a little bit faster, but it wasn't like they were just leaps and bounds faster where they were just blowing you away. So I could see you a lot in that, and I could tell like you were riding pretty good. Like, and I was hoping that like you would like see the leader guys and see that you weren't really in the way, and you could kind of latch on and try to latch on a little bit and use them to kind of pull you up to other guys and like pull those lap times down a little bit. And which I mean, look, you beat several guys in both classes, so I would be like I'd be happy that you beat a third of the class. It's not like that you weren't the last place guy, so I wouldn't be mad about it. Not definitely not when even the B class is. I mean, honestly, the B class might even be faster than College Boy. So when you look
there, I think so. I think I got to tell you, I was like, dude, they felt faster. I don't know what it was about it, but
I talked about this at the beginning before we called you, and I told some other people about like look at the gap in the B class and tell me if you think that the AMA has everything just ass backwards. So Casey's winning, okay, and battling with Drew Adams, battling with Christian Janik, and okay, I've never seen those two ride a real Supercross track, but I would assume that they've both been doing it. But let's just take Casey. So he's winning. Casey could go make a 250 main right now, no problem.
Oh yeah,
maybe
100%.
and maybe be around the top 10 in a 250 main, depending on the track and the situation and all. But he would for sure make a main, no problem. So you got the B class with kids winning on factory motorcycles that legit could make a 250 main, and then you got guys that you smoked that are the back of the pack, and it's like, dude, that's too much. That range is way too large.
Yeah, that's very large.
That's not, honestly, that's really not cool. It's not competitive. It's not safe. It's that really there's nothing cool about that. There's nothing good. And if you're Tim Cotter, if you're Davey Coombs, if you're any of them, and you really actually care, you would look and be like, man, we're not doing something right. Like something's not right here. Like this shouldn't be. I've been telling a lot of people the last couple days or so, they want this sport to be NASCAR, and so many people in moto don't like NASCAR. They don't like that route. They don't want to hear that. But what I'm saying with they want it to be NASCAR is the price of it and the way they're doing things. You don't just go drive a NASCAR, dude. Like it you have to have money. You have to have backing. Plus, then you have to have a lot of experience in other forms of car racing before you can even get in it. I mean, it's not, if you're Travis Pastrana, okay, you can pull some strings and you can probably get in one, but he has the resume to do that. If you're Matthew Weekly and you're racing dirt track here in Memphis, you race Supercross, but do you think any car guy cares you race Supercross? No, you're just racing dirt track here, and like he's not going to go drive a NASCAR. So it's just they're making it where it's like it's got to be these elite guys even competing in it, and it's just to me that's not the right way we should be doing it. We should be making it where it's geared towards and catered towards just your regular average everyday moto guy, and your guy that makes $50,000 a year can take his kid racing every weekend and he can compete, and his kid can go with talent, and hey, he might have to be a privateer with talent, but he can show somebody something his first year or two, and he can sneak a ride at some point, or he can make Loretta's multiple years in a row and sneak a championship and get some help. But I feel like the way they're doing it, dude, it's just like, it's nothing but like, who's living at a facility and can ride every day, and then he's got to, he's got to be on a factory bike, and you got to have this and that, and it's getting to be too much. And what they've created is what the B class is right now, with this gap from, these elite guys to, Yeah,
and Drew lapped all the way up to 9th place and finished behind the 8th place.
Yeah,
rider.
like think of that, Grayson.
Yeah, that's
he
insane.
almost lapped
insane.
8th place. that's dude. Like, we shouldn't have that in the amateur motocross, man. Like,
But like, I
move
think
these kids up. And what is it? What's the difference between Drew and Casey and those kids riding A at RCSX versus them riding B?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Like,
nothing.
I think
Nothing.
I think RCSX kind of is special with something like that. Like, not to say that I would be any closer to them on like an outdoor track, but I feel like the gaps aren't as big on an outdoor track.
Yeah, well, I mean, the track's bigger. You got longer lap times and stuff like that, obviously.
Yeah, and like something like that. But like, I think RCSX is kind of special when you look at it. But I think the B in general, I don't think gap from first. You need to look this up. You could. The gap from on outdoor track, the gap from B to like last, I still think it's closer than the gap from C to last on the C class. Like, because that's why like I never felt on outdoor track that I've raced in B so far for a year. I've never felt like I was just like, okay, like I'm out of place.
Mm-hmm.
The most I felt out of place was this weekend, and like I was talking to my mom about it Sunday after practice and heats and whatever, and she's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, man, I feel like I'm wasting my money because I feel so out of place and I'm so far behind everybody. But I'm like, she's like, well, the good thing about you is you're just doing this for fun, and there are people like that are down there in Daytona to go to RCSX to try to like win and treat it so serious. And I was like, man, that's so like that's true. Like, I'm just here just to like say I did it again, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, really and truly, they should be, as an amateur, they should be going to have fun and the experience, and there shouldn't be all this pressure that I've got to win. That's where we've went wrong with it. Of this, all this pressure of like I've got to win. Like, these are kids, they're amateurs. That's why. So I'm gonna go back to, I was watching Plus 25. Alessi's out there. Donnie walks up. He's watching. He's like, Alessi's out there? He's like, I thought this was an amateur race. And but I'm like, well, I mean, I mean, it's not an amateur race. Honestly, they don't need to call any of the motocross amateur nationals anymore. They just need to call them youth nationals or just nationals or whatever, something else. Because to me, these kids that ride every day and it's like a job, you're not an amateur anymore. Yes, you don't get paid, but when you do it like a job and you have pressure on you, you have to perform all this other. It's not amateur anymore. Yeah, like it's a job, you know. And I just think we went the wrong way with that in moto. Like it shouldn't be. It should still be fun. You should still have an avenue for fun. And a lot of sports have done this. I mean, you know, my kids playing baseball and stuff. Like, if select ball's the same way. If you play travel ball, select ball, whatever, it's, you know, super serious. The parents, you know, think that it's the end of the world if the team doesn't win the tournament or whatever, and it shouldn't be about that. It should be about learning, experience, having fun, you know, growing as a kid, growing as a athlete and a person, not that, you know, I've got to win because, you know, we think we're going to get something. We're going to get some special trophy. Someone's going to look at me. And, you know, it's everyone chasing that carrot. And I don't think you should really have that mindset of chasing that until you're like high school age. You know, high school age, okay, you're starting to really mature. You're starting to, you know, then we can start chasing and we can start getting that mentality and, you know. But, I mean, I guess it's, you know, people have to weigh their options and look and say, you know, hey, you know, how should we do this or whatever, on if we think our kid's going to make it or not make it. But I just kind of look at the burnout thing, and I think that more will get burnt out than not. So to me, let's do what benefits the more than the less, and what benefits the more is let's wait a little bit before we push these kids in, and you know, I mean, I remember whatever episode of Pulp I'm still on. It's when Daniel Blair and Dark Side are in. You know, they talk about it. Daniel Blair talks about it too. Like he would rather kids wait till they're, you know, 19, 20 years old before they go pro, because they're more mature. They kind of understand life a little bit better. They're not just rushing into this. And then, but what that does is it also it also lessens this rush of my kid's 8 or 9 and I'm going to send him to a training facility because we got to go pro at 16. You know, like it kind of lessens that rush a little bit. So maybe it would help people, you know, but
if you move like the pro age back to 20, then like you can start moving like when am I going to send my kids instead of sending my kids to a training facility at 10 or 11, like you're like, okay, let's send him when he's 16 instead or 15. And it's like then the kid kind of has an understanding of like what he's really getting at, like, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he knows if that's really what he wants to do or not, because I mean, the kid could be good at 12, and at 15 he could be like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore, Dad. I mean, it happens. Yeah. I mean, if you go back and look in history of different names, then you're just like, where'd they go? It was probably that kid that's like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore, you know, and I think that we don't look at that in this sport at all. People don't look at it at all. They just think they're just living in the moment. And I don't know, dude. You know, my kids are slow, so I don't really have that. I don't have that problem. But I still want them to ride and race. And if they decide to get fast at 16, 17, 18, you know, they'll have my support or whatever. But I don't want them to give up other sports and other things that they could potentially be good at. Like, if I'm, like, just as a dad, okay, moto's obviously my thing I love the most. So I would much rather my kids be professional at that. To an extent. Just, like, because I would enjoy that more. But for my kids' well-being, I'd rather them be good at a ball sport because they're going to go to college for free. And if they make it as a professional, they're going to make money. Whereas if they become a professional motocrosser, I mean, they could be a 15th place guy every weekend, and you know, their mom's making more money than they are as a nurse practitioner. Yeah. You know, so it's like, what would I rather my kids, you know, be at? And like I said, I love moto, so I want my kids to do that and ride, but I want my kids to ride for the love and enjoyment of it, and to still want to ride when they're 30 and they have kids, and you know, they're like, hey, Dad, like, let's all go to Dan's and ride, you know, and we're all out there, you know, like as a, you know, like we all are right now, and just for the fun and the enjoyment, not for the I'm gonna be something, and but you know, I guess I don't look through stuff tunnel visioned of I'm going for one thing, so some people do, and I go ahead.
I think it's just like how I think it all starts from the parent side than anything, you know. It's just the same way.
Yeah, and some kids don't like I mean, I was one. Like I played some ball sports really young, and I didn't like it. I didn't like team sports. I didn't like having to depend on a team, and we'd lose because one kid didn't care to try. And I mean, I'm 9-10 years old at this time, you know, but I was already, you know, winning a decent amount on the dirt side. So, you know, that was my thing. Dirt bikes, skateboarding, BMX. Like I liked that. I liked extreme sports and that kind of stuff. And I still liked football. I always liked football forever. But I was little, so football was kind of out of the question. You know, you're not going to be a little runt and play football. So, you know, that kind of changed that. But I wasn't into that. So I know there is kids that, you know, they've tried other sports and they just don't like it and they want to do it. But for the ones that do like the other stuff, you know, you gotta let them do everything. And then the schooling part of it too, like, dude, you got to go to school. Like, 100%. You got to go to school. You got to learn how to do other stuff because, you know, so much stuff can happen, and you got to have a backup plan. Be a Josh Cartwright. Go to college, get a really good job, and still race. It can happen. Don't say, you know, you can't say it can't, because Josh has proved that it can happen. And you know, they don't, you know, if you're going through regular high school and you get a ride and, you know, you're your own star, I'm sure you can still take some online classes and do something in a little bit of your free time and still pass, you know, still do a little bit of learning as you're, you know, in your off season times and stuff as you're racing as a pro, because just because you're on star for 2 years doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make money to retire on, you know.
Yeah. True.
You know, ball sport athletes, they go to school and they get a degree. and if they get hurt or they only last for 2 or 3 years, they've got a degree. Whether they really utilize it or not, they've got a backup plan. And we'd be smart in moto to kind of implement something to some kind of backup plan. So,
yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe RC will be like pushy for that. He's big on Cartwright, and he's I saw he graduated, got his high school diploma. Finally.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. God, wasted an hour and a half of my day on Sunday, and I'm like, this is cool and all, dude, but let's do this at the end of the day.
Yeah,
when all the heats and practices are done.
Yeah,
Don't go don't take up an hour of my time. Like, congratulations, dude.
Yeah.
I love Ricky Carmichael, but that pissed me off. I'm like, yeah, I'm tired.
One thing you've got to go back and watch the race for one thing. I didn't even mention this. Dude, the broadcast, they need that crew every weekend. It was Stu, dude, yeah. DB, RC, and Stu in the booth the whole time.
God,
and dude, Stu, like, amazing. I feel like Stu brought the better of RC out. Like, RC was so, dude, it was so good, and because they were just bouncing stuff off each other, and it's just like it was like it should be. And then DB's in there, who obviously knows a lot too, and dude, it was just full of so much good information, and it wasn't anything dumb. And then when they would go to the track side, it was JT. So JT's good, and it's just like, I'm like, this is what we need. A bunch of ex-racers that all know how to talk really well, that will talk and be open, give their open opinion. I'm like, and it was two of the greatest ever, and I'm and then two other guys who were good pros. So I'm like, this is how I should be, dude. Get those other foreign-speaking people out that don't know anything about the sport. Like, I'm done. Like, just have our guys in there. Like, dude, it was good. Like, it was really good. So, you'll enjoy it for that part of it.
Me and Corey had a debate, and we were like, we've had some beverages, and we were at dinner, and we were like, who was faster, JT or Daniel Blair?
Oh, JT for sure. JT
really
dude, JT was way faster. Dude, JT was JT was a every round 450 main event guy. JT had like national number 30 something for like multiple years. When your numbers in the 30s, dude, he was pretty good. Like, the way he was solid. He was solid, and he had good. I don't know what his top finishes are, but I'm pretty, like, I would think he had a top 5 or so, or a couple times or something. I
don't know.
And Daniel was good, but he wasn't as solid as JT. I mean,
he was an arena cross champion.
Yeah, but he beat guys like me and a bunch of kids, and so I only raced 2 rounds that year, but still, like, DB was a really good rider, but DB, and another thing to me that makes JT way better was JT was a good outdoor rider too. JT had top 10s in the 250, 450 class outdoors, and DB didn't. DB was not an outdoor guy. He'll tell you. Like, I mean, I might have been better than DB outdoors. So, JT was really, really good. He was a consistent, solid dude. Like, I would compare him to like a Filthy Phil or somebody like that. I think Phil maybe had a little bit higher highs than JT, but Phil's like always been a solid dude that's always been there. Like, that's kind of how JT was.
Okay. Well, that was just a debate we had.
Yeah. So you thought DB was faster?
I couldn't remember what exactly the debate was.
So I'm on Corey's side. Or Corey's on my side. Yeah, I mean, that figures.
You're
Corey's a lot.
Side.
Yeah, Corey's normally a little bit smarter than you are. So.
Well, you should ask Corey how RCSX went, and then get.
Oh no, I was at Dan's, and Brooks was at Dan's.
And Brooks told you.
Brooks got off the phone with Corey, and he comes over there, and he's like, "Yeah, Corey just wadded." Yeah, so he told us the whole story, and
yeah.
So
I was talking.
Corey's day was done on Sunday, huh?
Yeah, I was talking massive crap with him because like he went ass over tea kettle, like at RCSX, and so like I'm just like jabbing at him, and like Max like, dude, like, hey, don't jab at him too much. Like he just crashed. I'm like, no, Corey got this full effect of me doing the same thing at Wildwood for a full day. I'm like, I'm talking crap to Corey all day about this.
Yeah.
And I still will. I'll go, like, we're at PAX today. I'm like, yeah, hopefully there's no whoops here because Corey may crash on him. Because he crashed jumping him. Like, he wasn't skimming him or nothing.
Yeah.
That's what the fun. Corey's like, if I was skimming him, I wouldn't feel so bad.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, so, you didn't ride today, huh?
Nope, I did not. I did like
where was the crew at?
We're at PAX today. PAX.
Okay.
That's pretty sick. It looks like we're at Boswick yesterday, and I did a couple laps, and then I did like 4 laps on the main, 3 laps on the sand track, and like 2 laps in the woods. And I was like, yeah, like my back just like RCSX was so beat by the end of Monday. It like tore me up.
Yeah.
It was miserable. Because like nothing, you can't like really stand around that track, you know?
Yeah.
It's not, you can't, it's hard to stand up around these tight corners or you can't stand on a bowl corner.
Yeah, you got to sit down some. Yep. As tight as it is.
So like, yeah, the impact just tore my back up.
Yeah.
So like, I shouldn't have rode yesterday, but I did. And then went to the doctor, got some shots. I had to argue with a woman because she was like, "Oh, you were on a dirt bike and you need X-rays and MRIs and stuff." And I'm like, "I'm sure I do. Like, I'm sure it's like a disc problem, a bulging disc I have a problem with." But I'm like, "Please just give me some type of anything to help me through the week. Like, I want to ride." And so like, she gave me like 2 shots of steroids and some. She gave me some muscle relaxers. I'm like, I went to this like local doctor and I was like, maybe she'll just give me some like oxycodone or something because like we're in Florida. I don't know how that works.
No, I don't think they can just do that anywhere, honestly. So
I would have sold. I would have sold them so quick, and I would have got all my money back. God, that would have been amazing.
Oh, that's funny. All right, buddy. Well, the shop's about to close, so me and Eli got to wrap this thing up. So we got out of you what we wanted to get out of you. We needed to talk about Daytona. It's Daytomac. Yeah, I saw people saying that. I'd rather say it like Chad Reed and say Daytona.
Daytona.
They're building a statue of them. Like there was bad traffic, so I
bet they are right beside Richard Petty. Yeah, the NASCAR guy. Yeah, because they said that on the broadcast 1,000 times. Tomax won it Tomax won it 7 times. The only other person to win at Daytona 7 times is Richard Petty, the king of NASCAR.
Oh, Richard Petty.
Yep.
Yay, NASCAR. Yes.
Yep. So history was made.
And I was there.
Yep, you were there. All right, buddy. We'll have a safe travels. Are you going to Boyd's?
Yes, sir, Mr. Boyd Jordan.
Oh man, that's gonna be.
It's gonna be a trip.
Yeah, send me plenty of Snapchats. I need some more videos of that one, dude. Josh was loving it.
Y'all like the video of last night?
Dude, that was so good. Eli hasn't seen it, but I don't know.
Don't show Eli.
It's not appropriate for Eli.
We're not showing Eli. This is I gotta see an ID. Like I'm IDing to show people. You know.
Oh, dude, it was good. That was good.
It was great.
Yeah. Send me some more of those.
Oh, I will.
All right, buddy. Have fun.
All right. Love y'all. Bye.
Yeah, love you. Bye. See ya.
Love you.
Bye. Love you. Bye.
All right, everybody. That's everybody's favorite co-host, Grayson Crum. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Eli, we got to wrap it up before they kick us out of here. It's almost 5:30. They're going to be locking the doors. Tell all our listeners what they're supposed to do.
Like and subscribe and
follow. Because if the podcast makes money, then when we put our stickers on people's helmet, maybe we can actually give them money instead of just giving them the stickers to stick on there. And Eli might get, some help going to a regional or Loretta's or somewhere like that. So
make sure to go to every app that Shop Motopod is on and follow them.
There you go. Yep. All right, everybody. We're out.